Hi Leo, I hope you guys are doing great. This is going to be a reading for the last around 2 weeks of August. I feel like I have so many messages for you today. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Well, first of all, new moon in you guys on the 18th, which I'm really excited about, to be honest with you. It's just you guys are just all about creativity and romance and fun, right? You guys are the landlords of the house of fun. So really at home, really focusing on your self-confidence, how to have a really healthy pride in yourself, how to make all of that happen. You're going to feel this push to be very sort of harmonious and giving, which is great. And remember, guys, the wishes that are planted for any new moon, you want to look, particularly for this one, look out about 2 weeks, and you're going to start to see things sort of crystallizing, okay, and starting to formulate anyway. But one thing you should know about this energy is it's a very sort of like stop and go energy. Something might be releasing, but then a block or an obstacle can appear. So these ups and downs, it can motivate you to begin anew or have a clean slate. And, and I do not to be repetitive, because I did address this last time, but it's still a thing, Mars squaring. So, Mars is from your 9th house is squaring your 6th house. So 9th house has to do with your belief system, right? And then the 6th house, how you think things should be, right? Your belief system. And then the 6th house, which has to do with your health, your day-to-day, particularly your day-to-day work environment. So you have the square. So there's this tension where it's like, what you want to do. You know the changes that you want to make in your day-to-day environment. You know exactly what it is. You know what changes you want to make in your diet or in your physical routine or whatever that is. But it's conflicting right now with how you've been handling it up to this point, right? The 9th house, what you believe to be the truth and how you're supposed to be handling this. And Saturn is throwing a wrench into things, slowing progress down there because he wants you to look at things differently. So just so that you know that, and it would be repetitive, but this is still a thing. But in the mid-month, we have Uranus is popping into your 10th house, just to say that's where there's going to be a big surprise having to do with your career. So I feel like there are so many different messages for you this month between the astrology and the tarot. I just feel like we're going to sort of be hitting different aspects. Still a general message, guys, so take what resonates, throw out the rest. But Uranus is going to be retrograde in your 10th house, having to do with your career. Whenever we have a retrograde energy, remember, we need to go inside before we can have any sort of external changes, right? But the thing is, it's how do I explain Uranus is like, boom, it's like heavy, it's out of nowhere, but it could be so positive. Please don't think that this is a negative thing. So this could be like all of a sudden, boom, this job that you've been thinking about, all of a sudden, very serendipitously, you get this message out of nowhere that they want to interview you. You get message that you got the job, or it could have to do also with your legacy, right? In the way that, and your public reputation. So all of a sudden something happens with some sort of property that you want to leave in a will or anything like that. But it really is the house of career. So something shocking, because Uranus is shocking, something shocking is going to be happening within your career. You're looking to like the end of August into the beginning of September. So, okay, let's see what messages Lenormand has for us. First, guys, I'm doing a different kind of reading today. I'm going to be doing a yes-no reading after we read what Lenormand has to say for us. So, yes-no, the way that works, we got the snake. The way the yes-no works is you're going to have a question on your mind or on your heart that you can articulate 3 consecutive times in full sentence form, something that you would like a yes-no answer to. And then I'll pull additional, one more. Okay. We'll pull additional information when we get to that part. So what does Lenormand want us to know? We have the house, and we have it not being wherever you are right now. You don't feel like you belong there, Leo, because the north of the compass is going opposite the house. So this has to do with what you consider home, your metaphorical home space. So this could have to do with your literal home. This could have to do with your job, if you consider that to be like another home, where you feel grounded and safe and rooted, okay, wherever that is in your life. But you like your true north going in another direction. Okay, and then we have the Tower. The Tower in Lenormand is totally different than in Tarot, so don't worry. This is actually about protection. This indicates to me that maybe you've actually been a little isolated within yourself. So maybe kind of like a hermit energy, like where, well, first of all, if it has to, this could have to do with you being protected by some sort of outside organization. Some of you are going to resonate with that. But I really am feeling it's more about a sense of isolation. Even if you're in a room with a bunch of people, there's this thing that's going on very internally to you that you're trying to unknot, you're trying to figure out, and there's a sense of isolation here. Now we have the Snake. Not a good energy in Lenormand because it's about you know, when we have the Mask, but this is about somebody presented, it's kind of like the Mask, right? But in a very sort of like, you can't trust this energy. Somebody is really I mean, think about the snake in Adam and Eve. It's like, don't worry, eat this snake. Eat this apple, rather. Nothing's going to happen to you, right? As the story in Genesis in the Bible goes, yeah, what happened? It was a hot mess for humanity after that, right? So this is a very distrustful energy, but then we have the Mask. But then we have the Owls, which is all about wisdom and needing to pay attention to some sort of red flags or symbols or serendipitous circumstances that you need to look into more. So I feel like somebody is saying that they're one way, that they want to do something a certain way. It's not a trustworthy energy. Now, the Mask energy could be you playing a certain role that you feel like you need to adopt right now in order to just deal and like get through something. But you do feel like there is this energy though. Leo, I feel like there's something that you want to trust, but they should not be trusted. There's something. So I'm going to give an example. One interpretation just came to me. Some of you may be looking actually to move, quite literally, where you're looking to move, you're looking around, right? You might be like looking sort of in private. You're really not talking to anybody. And if you find a place that you feel like, oh yeah, this is it, don't trust it, because there's something that's going on with this property that you have not figured out yet. You need to look at the situation closer. If this has to do with a relationship, if you're living with the person and you're like, no, I don't want to live with this person anymore, I want to just leave, you're in the space of isolation trying to figure things out, and you meet this other energy with this other person, but that person is not very authentic. You're not looking at all of the red flags. It's like you want to busy yourself in another energy because you don't want to deal with the energy that you're in. But that is not the place to go. If this has to do with a job, you're not happy in your job, you're looking around, but whatever it is that you're focused on right now, you need to look at the red flags. You need to look at, this is like sort of like a warning. This is not to be negative. This has not happened yet. It's maybe something that you're in the process of. You're going to know if you're in a situation where you're entertaining another energy, whether it has to do with another job other than the one that you've been in, relationship, anything, you're going to know how it's resonating with you. But the Owls is very profound to come up as a warning, because what I'm getting here, Leo, is that you feel like you don't belong in something that you may actually belong in. You're trying to divert your energy very aggressively away, but the thing is, whatever you're throwing your energies into is really not going to serve your highest good, and you need to, it's like you don't want to slap the rose-colored glasses on as a way of diverting your energy because something here is hurting you. Whether it's that you want to move, whether it's the relationship that you're having in the place that you're living, whether it's the relationship that you're in that you consider them your metaphorical energetic home space, whether it's that job, whatever it is, if something is hurting you and paining you and you're looking in another direction, it's not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just that whatever you are entertaining, you need to be careful because there is a lack of authenticity here. Okay, ninth house belief system. Yeah, I mean, this is where we have the square coming from, Mars. We have the sun, which is, you know, for good or bad, where is your ego or somebody else's ego getting in the way? And then we have Libra. Libra is the landlord of the seventh house of relationships. This is also about what's fair, what's not fair. So really focusing on what's fair, what's not fair, having to do with, now when we have Libra, it's what's fair, what's not fair, but Libra's ruled by Venus, and Venus is one of the money planets. It's also the planet of value, of self-value, of love. So it's looking at all of these things and really trying to identify, have things been equitable? Have you shown up the best way? Have they shown up the best way? How equitable is this job? Are you getting paid for what you're doing, you know, in a fair way? Are you being paid fairly? Is the job description what you signed on for? Are you, you know, whatever it is. But it's directly connected here to this idea of, you know, the sun is your ruler, right? So there could be an ego issue having to do with belief system, how you think things should be, how you think things should go. Okay, is what I'm getting here, which could be upsetting this house, the house space. Scorpio is all about transformation. Scorpio is also the sign of sex. Scorpio is about endings and beginnings. So you may be very focused on the desire to end something, cut off some energetic tie, end something. But, you know, with the transformation here, because Pluto is transformation, you want to be careful of what you what this next cycle is. Now, this could be you desiring a transformation within the current relationship that you're having, which is a really good thing, and that just requires everybody being on board, and you can only control yourself, right? But, you know, it could be that, because Pluto can mean many, many things. Transformation can mean the ebb and flow of many relationships, right? There being some good times and bad times, and you saying, you know what, we need a fresh cycle. We need to change things here. We need to communicate differently. We need to really sit down and talk about openly, with empathy and open ears, what do we each need to make this work? This would be a great energy as well, would apply completely appropriately as well to any sort of business relationship and business connection. But there is an energy here that I don't like. I have to tell you this, to have the snake and then the mask and then the pay attention to the signs would end, and the fact that the north, I was going to say the north node, but the north energy here is, your true north is veering away from where you're at home at right now. So again, nothing wrong with that at all. It's just that it seems like you have your energies focused on something that is not really going to serve you right now. So let's see what the tarot says. So ask that question now, Leo, okay? Take a deep breath. Nice deep inhale. On the exhale, articulate the question fully 3 different times, either fully in your mind or out loud, even better. Two of Swords. This is a yes card. I'm sorry, Two of Swords is an exception card. That's an exception. Yeah, you'll understand why in a moment. King of Cups is a yes. And the Lovers is a yes. Okay. Let me explain the exception. What happens with the exception is it just means not yet known. So Two of Swords and the Ten of Wands are not yet known energies. I'm going to put in the description box below what all the cards mean so that you guys could, you know, check yourself again. But not yet known. And the reason is, I mean, that is, the Two of Swords is a stalemate energy. This is being at cross purposes. It's a stalemate. It's needing to make a decision but not making it. So you could be at cross purposes with someone, you can, or you could just be at cross purposes with yourself. And the swords indicate it's an air energy, right? So this is a moon in Libra energy because Libra is an air energy. But the moon is I feel, and it's in Libra, which is all about, relationship and money and connection, and just like, I don't know, like, do I go with this job or that job? Like, what's going to give me the most value and the most money? What am I going to feel the best in? Should I stay in this relationship? I go in that relationship. Should I stay here or should I go there? And it's kind of being in this position of there being a stalemate, which is why it's considered an exception card. Okay, so let's pull some qualifiers for these. Okay, the Strength energy, the Six of Swords, Judgment, Ten of Cups, very nice. It's a nice center spread there, that's for sure. Some serious working it out over here. Serious working it out. So I already explained what the Two of Swords means. And we have the Strength card. So this is you guys. So this is pretty good, right, for relationships. Sorry, I'm knocking my camera. This could be a positive, definitely a supportive energy for relationships, but it does indicate that something needs addressing. Somebody's ego needs to be stroked. Somebody's ego has been dented. It needs addressing. Now, what you want to be careful of, though, with this energy, with relationship, if you're here with relationship on your heart, you want to make sure that you don't, because avoidance can be indicated here, avoidance of the big issues, avoidance of the 1,000-pound elephant in the room that needs to be addressed. Because what happens here with this energy is there's a lot of attraction here. If you're resonating with this as far as relationship goes, and then you end up in bed instead of having the conversation that you're supposed to have. You know what I'm saying, right? So it's like, it's just easier to do that. It's a lot more fun, right? But the conversation needs to be had here. But it's a positive energy. If you're here with career on your heart, this can indicate definite tensions at work, for sure. Definite tensions. But it all working out okay, as long as you handle everything with an even-keeled ego. Okay, so definitely that. If you're here just with another of those, this could indicate that you're just really not liking where you live. You really want to move somewhere else, and you're feeling this tension. It's this little sort of rumbling in your belly that you just, you're not really liking where you live. So everybody's going to resonate with that a little differently. So you could certainly be, 2 out of 3 of them would be resonating with you, if this is your reading. Then we have the Six of Swords in reverse. It means pretty much the same as the upright, except you can't leave yet. So the Six of Swords is identifying that there is something toxic that you're definitely wanting to move away from, but you may not be able to move just yet. You might not be able to make your move. So it means kind of staying put in that job, in that relationship, in that family situation, whatever it is, and setting your sights on trying to move yourself out of there. So you're still being in that energy, but you thinking about, at least mentally, moving yourself out of the toxicity. So very interesting here, because we have passion on the one hand, and then we have moving away from toxicity on the other hand. So, you may be very passionate about a job and deciding to leave another job. You may be very passionate about one person and, at least in your mind, moving yourself out of. So maybe, I don't know, maybe you're on I'm not judging, okay? But maybe like you're married and there's this other energy that you're involved with. Maybe you're in one relationship and there's another energy that you're entertaining. But I do feel like that is the Two of Swords energy. And that may be what you want the answer on. And so, unfortunately it came up as an exception, but let's see what the other energies do indicate, because I do see some sort of resolve coming here. There need to be definitely the need to express emotions, rather. We have the King of Cup energy here. Emotions need to be expressed, particularly about some sort of either relationship issue, family issue. There needs to be, even within a career, particularly if you have any kind of business partner, there needs to be some sort of issue that's been pressing on your heart, expressed. And this cannot be avoided. Now, we have the Judgment here too, which is the need to make a decision regarding something from the past, looking back on whatever situation this is, and understanding in the upright, you're looking back at your role in it, and you are realizing that you did the best you knew how with what you had to work with. In other words, if somebody was saying, but you never did this and you never did that, well, maybe they're correct, but you also know that you worked with the tools in your toolbox. In your mind, you were showing up 100% in your mind in the best way that you knew how at that time. That does not mean that you showed up perfectly, but it means that you know you did the best that you knew how. And it's enough to acknowledge that, and now it's time to transform something, right? Because the judgment energy is Pluto, and Pluto is about transformation. Something needs to be healed and forgiven here. This is really important. And quite frankly, regardless of however the situation goes, forgiveness is always the ultimate way of really showing yourself self-love, because forgiveness is not forgetting. Forgiveness doesn't mean you can't forget, because then it'll happen again, right? But forgiveness means that what happened. We can't go back and change things. Let's just move forward now. And then we have the Ten of Cups, guys. This is one of the most positive cards by far in the deck. This is a beautiful period for all kinds of relationships, whether it's intimate, family connections, business partnerships. This is a positive indicator for money. This is a positive indicator for connection, deepening, honesty, openness. I mean, to have judgment with the Ten of Cups underneath the King of Cups, I have to tell you, this is like problem solving. This is so much healing. I have the chills from this. Really beautiful. Then we have the Lover's energy, another need to make a decision. So the Lovers, you need to make a decision about the situation. You need to decide if you're going to stay in this relationship. Is everyone on the same page? And is it worth really working at? You only know the answer to that. You only know the answer to, understanding best the person that you're in it with. Because the thing is, with the Lover's energy, everyone has to be on the same page. So it's the same thing with a business partnership, family connection. The Lover's energy is anyone who we have a shared soul purpose with. It can even be with ourselves, because the Lover's energy does indicate really working very actively, and very pragmatically on a healthy relationship with ourselves as well. And, while we think we have that, many times we get in our own way in ways that we don't even understand and we don't recognize, right? But the Lover's energy is a beautiful energy as long as everybody is on the same page. So, and it does have the blessing of Archangel Raphael and the luminary of the sun. So it really is good at being able to identify the cracks in the foundation of a situation and really addressing them together in a very unified way. So clarifying this, we have the Six of Cups energy, and then we have the Ten of Wands. So this is let's talk about the Ten of Wands first. The Ten of Wands reverse indicates, Ten of Wands is like an overwhelm energy. It definitely is. And it's, but there's almost like an obstinance to this energy, the Ten of Wands in reverse, where it's like, okay, you're very busy, you're very overwhelmed, like emotionally, could be in the 3D, could be a little bit of both, right? Where you're super multitasking in the 3D, kids, work, whatever the heck is your story. And you also like have all this heavy stuff going on as far as your personal life goes in your mind, right? Or it could be things going fine in your day-to-day 3D, but it's just being this thing weighing on your heart emotionally. Okay, but there's an obstinance here, Leo, where it's like you need to look at where you might be trying to make something be perfect and understand that it's never going to be that. And as long as if you can just get in touch with that, the fact that nothing in life is perfect ever, it's never 50-50 scales and all of that, that's illogical. You're setting yourself up for defeat and failure in whatever you're looking, at in that way. So as soon as you realize that, there's going to be a lightening of the situation, right? The Ten of Wands is still a minor arcana. And in the reverse, it does indicate that you did kind of give up on something. And it's because there was an obstinance. There was a way that you thought things should be. But it really is this need. The energy is saying, look back at that. Are you sure? you know, because the Six of Cups is a very positive energy where the past is helping us to understand something. So for some of you, you might quite literally be revisiting a childhood home, reconnecting with people from the past. This does indicate an actually very harmonious time in relationship, quite frankly, for many of you, which is nice to have with the Lover's energy as well. But there is this feeling though that where it's like things are not 100% the way you want them, and you really need to understand why. Now, for some of you, this can indicate a reconciliation with somebody from the past. I just have to say it. You are energetic beings. If you don't want to get back with that person, you don't have to. But I have to tell you that just having this expression with forgiveness and then the healing does indicate that there was some sort of connection in the past that's, you know, coming into the present. I do have to tell you that's what I'm getting, you know, general message, though maybe it's not your message, but the Six of Cups energy is that too, reconciliation and it going well, you know, because the Six of Cups is a Sun and Scorpio energy, so the Sun does cultivate the land in the way that we need to encourage the transformation. You know, just as long as you understand that while you're working on something, again, this is like now the 12th time, not to be repetitive, but that nothing is perfect. So whether you're looking for it to be perfect, or maybe you feel like your partner is looking for it to be perfect, where it's like they need for you to be a certain way, that, you know, you need for them to be a certain way. Everybody has to have this amount of money in the bank, or everybody has to take care of themselves in this particular way, or communication has to be this particular way, or social life has to be, you know, a lot of those big things need to be obviously, you know, figured out in order for there to be balance within the relationship, obviously. But, you know, the approach to how these things can end up coming to fruition, you know, may be handled more gingerly and with openness and compromise. And I think you might be surprised where you end up on the other side of this. So this has been a very interesting reading for me, because I feel like a lot of you are looking outside of your existence right now, outside of where you're working, your relationship, whatever it is. There's an area in your life that you're looking outside, saying, oh, but the grass looks greener on the other side, or I think it is greener. Some of you may even be trying something out on the other side there, but it ends up at the end of the day that that's not actually what you're meant to be in. You're actually meant to be in something else. And I know a lot of you guys are going to come after me. Listen, if that is not your story, then this is not your reading. Cards aren't wrong. They are what they are, right? It's a general platform. Anyway, thank you so much, Leo, for spending some time with me. I really appreciate it. I appreciate each and every one of you. I'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.